Good Monday evening, Southeast Texas. Hope you and your family are doing well. We're going to take the next 15 minutes and do an in-depth look at your forecast. Boy, wasn't the weekend fantastic? Well, more of the same coming up the next couple of days. Little change. In fact, maybe a little bit hotter in the afternoons as high pressure builds over our area. Beautiful sunset over at Finette as skies have gone clear across our area, and we expect a clear night and temperatures to come on down. Maybe as cool as the upper 50s in the lakes to the low to mid 60s here in the Triangle. This is part of the Roofing 911 Skycam network. Unfortunately, just a crummy allergy report. If you're an allergy sufferer, you can pretty much agree with that. Ragweed season just is continuing. Very high levels today as far as ragweed, but we also have very high levels of mold too, tree pollen up a little bit. But again, it's basically ragweed and mold today, like what we saw on Friday. Otherwise, in your weather headlines, little change, as I said, expected the next couple of days. Cool nights and hot afternoons as high pressure is in charge of our area's weather the next couple of days. And again, humidity levels will be low, so it'll feel a little better than our normal sauna-like weather pattern during the summertime. So the heat index won't be that much of an issue coming up the next couple of days. Now, there's going to be a small chance coming up Friday, Saturday, and Saturday night, and I'll show you why in just a second. Otherwise, weak cold front comes through early Sunday morning, and that will just prolong what we have seen here the last week or so, expected early next week. As far as rainfall, I wish I had better news. It just doesn't look that promising. Normally through tomorrow, the 14th through the 20th, which is 7 days, we should pick up climatologically 1.27 inches of rainfall. That's well below modeling, and this is the wet model, by the way. It's showing a fifth of an inch. Now, we'll probably go a quarter to maybe a fifth of an inch. Regardless, it's below, well below normal. So what does that mean? The drought will continue to intensify across Southeast Texas. This may be enough to dampen the dust in spots. Otherwise, I wish I had better news. So again, Friday and Saturday, about a 20% coverage. Saturday night, we may go to about a 30% coverage as a weak front pushes through. And I elected to just go 20% Sunday morning, but I'm thinking we're going to be erasing that as the front pushes through. Otherwise, it's a return to dry weather early next week. So again, the chances are low and the amounts are low over the next 7 days. So the reason that is that, yeah, we got good atmospheric moisture. That's moisture in the atmosphere. How moist is the atmosphere? How much do we have to work with? And it's decent coming up Friday and Saturday, but until then, bone dry Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we return to bone dry weather conditions coming up Sunday afternoon and Monday. There's just not a lot of moisture at all. So where is that moisture? The moisture that we're talking about is confined to the lowest 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. Above 5,000 feet, it's bone dry, even as we have that slight chance coming in on Friday and Saturday. So I don't expect thunderstorms. If we see anything, it'll be showers, and they will be light because the moisture is not deep enough or tall enough. If we had moisture at 10,000 feet, then we would talk about thunderstorms and better chances of rain. We just don't have that. So this will be light rain if we see it at all coming up Friday and Saturday. And then we go back to bone dry weather conditions coming up Sunday and Monday across Southeast Texas. Well, first off, Newton, Orange, Jefferson, Chambers, Liberty have all been added to the burn ban list. I expect Jasper and Hardin to be under a burn ban tomorrow. So that means by tomorrow afternoon, if not sooner, all of Southeast Texas will be placed under a burn ban across the area. And the reason is that we have a moderate to high wildfire danger. Now that doesn't, as we saw up in around just northwest of Jasper today, fires can take off very quickly. So that's why we have a moderate to high wildfire danger potential across Southeast Texas. And that means that the conditions are pretty prime to the production and the spread of fires. Now, maybe not in the cities, but outlying areas, as we saw today, where there were fires northwest of Jasper on 63. They can get out of hand very quickly if they are ignited. So why is this occurring? It's occurring because the afternoons we see bone dry air, humidity, minimum afternoon relative humidities around 30 to 35% tomorrow. That ain't good. The other thing is that the vegetation is dry. That ain't good either. So this is why fires can spread very quickly. The one positive thing on this is that winds will be fairly light tomorrow. Regardless, moderate drought level, that's drought level 2, and through southern Tyler and Hardin counties continue. And as of today, we're now 5 inches below normal since the 1st of September and approaching 9 inches since the 1st of the year. I think short term is more important, and this will likely continue to increase through the next 7 days as far as the deficit. So tomorrow I'm expecting a high of about 89, 90 here in Beaumont, or the Triangle, with a north to northeast wind at 2 to 7 miles an hour. Modeling pretty much agrees it's cooler than what I have, but it's actually cooler on the lows. That's too cool. And it's cooler on the highs tomorrow. I'm going, 62 in Beaumont and about 89, 90 up in the afternoon. Lots of sun tomorrow. We do not expect. How are you going to get rain? This is what I always find fascinating with modeling. You have clear skies. This is the model data, and it's got a 10% coverage. And that's what we're going to. Anyway, 88 up in the lakes, no rain expected there. Clear skies. And modeling is showing 85. So I may be a little bit warm tomorrow, but you get the gist. It's going to be a sunny, warm afternoon, and these lows are too warm. We're thinking upper 50s to around 60 degrees, highs maybe 85, could be. I think it'll be a little bit warmer with the high building over our area. I'll show you that in just a second. We got clear skies. We have nothing on radar on the Pro Roofing Concepts satellite and radar loop. Temperatures close to 80 here at the Triangle, lower 80s up in the lakes area at least at the airport. So a quiet night is expected. Humidity levels are starting to come up, but they were quite low again this afternoon, and there'll be that same situation coming up tomorrow. Again, very low humidities. We've got the sea breeze trying to come in off the Gulf right now here in the Triangle. So we'll see southeast winds this evening, and then it'll go calm and then turn back to the northeast as we get the land breeze before, say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that will push offshore. So across the state right now, high pressure is in charge. It is quiet, not much going on. Now this moisture that is coming into the Texas Panhandle, look where it's coming from. It's coming from the Pacific and interacting with that front. That's why temperatures are cooler there up into the Texas Panhandle this afternoon and evening. Otherwise, high pressure smack dab over our area, and again the clockwise flow around the high, as you can see, is dragging that moisture out of the Pacific. Otherwise, with high pressure, that means high temperatures will be just a little bit warmer tomorrow. Sinking air, that means probably no clouds, and again, another dry day across our area. So the high will be in charge of our area's forecast the next couple days. So a couple things I want you to look at. Obviously the high, but a piece of energy that is in the southeast Gulf tied to this low, that nor'easter up towards the Jersey coastline. A piece of that energy will ride underneath the ridge and come back around into South Texas as we head towards Friday. But tomorrow, see, there it is right there. That's a piece of energy. So tomorrow, there's the high right over East and North Texas. So lots of sun tomorrow. Very similar to what we saw today, just a little bit hotter coming up. Humidity levels will be low, so it won't be the sauna that we normally are used to. So again, this high will break down and move off to the south and east, and will basically trade positions with this disturbance coming around the high into South Texas and up the coastline as we head towards Friday. There it is. It's weak, so we don't expect a lot of rainfall with this, certainly not heavy. So then that will weaken and move off to the east. Notice the deepest moisture, we would love to have that come in because that would give us much more to work with interacting with this upper level disturbance and trough of low pressure. But because the atmosphere is fairly dry above 5,000 feet, it's going to be hard to make rain. Now, as we head towards Friday, we'll be watching a trough of low pressure come out of the Dakotas and march towards the south, bringing us a weak cold front coming up Saturday night into Sunday morning, maybe a 30% coverage of light rain. That trough goes east, high pressure builds on in, and we'll get more of what we saw early next week, like what we've seen here the last couple of days. So in the tropics, this is the favored zone for development in the tropics this time of year. We don't see anything right now. Ensemble modeling showing in about 10 to 14 days we could see something. But again, usually what happens this time of year is something develops. If it does, it goes into the southeast Gulf. Because of the shear over our northwest Gulf, it gets shunted off towards Florida. So we're not concerned at this point. We are watching Lorenzo. Lorenzo is a non-issue for us as it's going to stay out in the far east. Let me back up. I moved a little too fast there. Okay, so we got the tropics. We are going to watch this area in the far eastern Atlantic. There's a chance, since it's so far south, that it could run underneath the westerly shear. So we'll have to watch that in about 10 to 14 days. But right now, with the amount of shear we have in the northwest Gulf, our season just appears done to me. Otherwise, as I said, Lorenzo is a non-player, and it's looking like a fish storm or fish mixer, as even none of the islands are going to be impacted by this as it falls apart. That's hopeful. So on Futurecast, tonight it shows clear to mostly clear skies. We expect low temperatures to drop into the upper 50s to around 60. So cooler than what is shown here is what I'm going with. And the low to mid 60s expected here in the triangle. Then tomorrow, as we see northeasterly winds, north to northeasterly winds all day, dry air. So it looks like we'll see high temperatures in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees, again with sunny to mostly sunny skies expected tomorrow afternoon. So a beautiful day. Taking a look at your coastal marine forecast, you get one high tide tomorrow morning just after midnight at 12:34 a.m. and that's it. Otherwise, mostly smooth seas are expected around a foot and a northeast wind at 5 to 10 knots as far as your coastal marine forecast. So again, the 2nd of November will be falling back 1 hour, and that was just over, what, 2 or 3 weeks from now. So these daylight or sunrise and sunsets will certainly change by an hour, but right now the days just continue to get shorter. So tonight, if we could drop that, thank you so much, Kate. Looking at clear skies, cool temperatures, arguably chilly up in the lakes area, upper 50s to around 60. Inland southeast Texas, we're talking Deweyville, Silsbee, Lumberton, Kuntz, Vauta, Sour Lake. You're not in the lakes, you're not in the triangle. Inland southeast Texas, around 60 to the lower 60s, and in the triangle, low to mid 60s under southeast then north winds here in the triangle. For tomorrow, we're expecting lots of sun, low humidity. It should be a quiet day. High temperatures in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees expected. And again, that UV index is at 7.5 tomorrow, which is pretty high. So again, as I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, not a lot of change. High pressure is in charge of our area's weather. We expect quiet weather conditions with cool mornings and warm afternoons. But again, the best thing about the next couple of days, low humidity in the afternoons really helping to make it feel a little bit better. Now on Thursday, our winds will be turning southeast off the Gulf. So we'll see a little more in the way of cloud cover. We'll go partly cloudy with highs in the mid, or I should say the upper 80s. That's when we start really seeing the moisture come in as we head towards Thursday night into Friday. The question is, do we get more than 20% coverage? It doesn't matter. It doesn't look like it's going to be very heavy. So we'll go with the 20% coverage as that upper level disturbance pushes through the area. 87, 88, and then a 20% coverage Saturday. I know it says 30% coverage, but that's towards the night. As the weak front pushes into the area Saturday night, we'll go with that 30% coverage. And then maybe possibly we could see a few showers Sunday morning, but it's very iffy. I think we'll see sun will be moving into the